What up, what up, what up, y'all? It's Justice with the Wild, leader of the tribe, hip hop and in this skin since not. Wait. It's Justice with the Wild, leader of the tribe, hip hop and in this skin since 99, Sopping and Vine. Baby, I'm here to give you a little bit of info, this quick little video on how to read the moon. Now, I do want to be mindful of the fact that, like, a lot of my viewers are new to spiritual anything. And so I don't want to overwhelm you. Like, I want to make sure that you're able to utilize each phase, each timing, really with your life and to align yourself better. I'll even throw in some tips in the end that might also help you out. So to get started with the moon, spiritually speaking, the moon pretty much characterizes our habits, our deepest needs, our instincts, our unconscious moods, emotional nature, our security, things of these natures. But anytime the moon is shifting, and the moon does move, moon moves, the moon moves, y'all. Oh my gosh. It moves through different houses, no different than it does different signs, no different than all these other planets in the way that they move as well. So let's get started with the new moon. New moon looks like no moon. And with the new moon makes room to create intention. New moons are good for planning ahead, establishing goals. Oh my goodness. How wonderful. Anyway, so new moons. The new moon is good for planning ahead. It's also good for creating intentions. It's good to look at the new moon as like a clean slate, like a fresh new process, a fresh new beginning, in like whatever direction that you're looking towards. So say for example, we have a new moon. We just had a new moon in Virgo. And our new moon in Virgo pretty much would, for us, symbolize that this is a good time to not only create intentions, but create intentions that are in alignment with Virgo. What's up with Virgo? Virgo is a sign that is about healing. Virgo is a sign that's about stability. It's an earth sign. It's also a good sign about getting things logical, getting things pretty much put together in an order. And not only that, but also Virgo is the sign of healing. And so with that being said, when you look at the new moon in the sign of Virgo, you have the opportunity to create a plan to heal better, to get things in order, to organize. You're able to create a structure that pretty much puts you on the path for alignment. So that's really good to know when you come across a new moon. You need to know. You need to know when there's a new moon. Even if you look in the sky and you can't see it, whether it's cloudy or not, it's good to know because following the phases of the moon is a good way to keep track of ourselves and our lives as well. Let's move forward. We got the waxing crescent. And now, let me also say there's a difference between waxing and waning. Not a lot of people know what's wax, what's wane, what is that? Like, bruh. Waxing is when the moon comes from the new moon. When the moon starts from new moon, so new moon is essentially no moon, then from there forward it's waxing until the full moon. Then after the full moon is waning. All right, I explained it to you. Anyone else that's confused about it, you let them know. Waxing is grow and waning is the, you know, that one. Anyway, it's going back into the new moon. There it is. Waxing crescent is really good for taking action. With knowing the new moon symbolizes a good clean start, you know, and everything, the next step would be to take action. So that will be your waxing crescent. You'll see the moon on like the right side, like have this little smile to it, you know? It'll have like a little, you know, I don't know, Disney movie. No, that's not Disney. Whatever DreamWorks, that whole thing. You see the little kid fishing. Okay, waxing crescent. And I don't know if the video is showing it in the right direction, so I'm just gonna put emojis up here, bro. The moon also symbolizes illusions, so be careful. Waxing crescents are good for taking the first step into your intentions that you've made on the new moon. You know, it's a good start. Really, it's like planting seeds almost. Now let's get started. Taking action. Simple. Now we have our first quarter, which is our next one. First quarter, you're gonna see like half a moon on the right side. Nothing on the left, but half a moon on the right side. One word to sum it up: growth. It's also in alignment with taking your first steps and everything. It's really getting immersed into it though. It's not really like this is my absolute first day at school. No, it's like the first month. Now we're starting to get into a vibe. We're getting a groove going. Now we're trying to see where this is going. We're starting to see what's what here. And the first quarter is really good for taking initiative. Way better than a waxing crescent. Waxing crescent is like baby steps. First quarter is more so the actual steps. And so, yeah, later on we have the gibbous. We have the waxing gibbous. Waxing gibbous is like mostly moon on the right side. Just mostly moon, and now you got a little like shadow smile on the left side, if that makes sense. Waxing gibbous, it's really good for refining. It's good for fine tuning. Now that we got a little taste of it, we got a little step into it. Now let's get into what exactly needs to get shaped back into place so that we make sure we're staying on track with the intentions we've created in our new moon. One word to define it is refining. Y'all, I'm ahead of this. Then we got our star of the show, the one everyone knows, full moon. And one word to sum up the full moon: blooming. Period, poo. Now we're starting to see with the full moon the achievements and how far they've came. How good we've gotten to that placement of what it is that we wanted, that we put our mind in when the new moon was in whatever other sign. Now the full moon. Full moon is good for, celebrating your achievements, receiving the fruition of your gifts, receiving the fruits of that seed you planted months ago. You're actually seeing the progress of such, and you're actually seeing it come together during the full moon. It's in full bloom. Just to sum up the full moon. Then we have the waning gibbous. Now we're getting into waning. Our way of reflecting, our way of looking back, our way of analyzing and kind of seeing like, okay, that's how we came. That's where we were. It was a good time. We had us a good vibe. This was the ride. This was the trip. This was the journey. This is what we're learning. And now that we've learned it, now that we've gathered it, wow. All right, my bad, y'all. My phone went out because she rude. And so I'm just gonna try to sum this up as best I can. Check it. So last quarter is about releasing, what it is that we've learned, what it is that we've pretty much held on to for a little moment, what it is that we've gotten from it. All right, cool. All that hard work and wounds that we got from this journey, now we can actually sit in it and recuperate and allow ourselves to just forgive ourselves, really, and to look back in a way that now we have acceptance with what we've looked back upon when it comes to the third quarter, the last quarter, things of those natures, kind of cleansing, releasing that negativity, releasing all the hardships that came from said journey. Then you have the waning crescent. Again, little sliver, little smell of some moon on the little side, on the left side. The waning crescent is really good for resting. It's really good for just recuperating fully, getting ready to clean your slate all over again, because the next phase would be the new moon. So you want to make sure you take the time to ease yourself, to take the time to really come into relief, a moment of rest, a moment of wow, we really did that. Yep, because the next phase is the new moon. You got more to grow to. You got more to keep going. You need to be careful when you think about the new moon and the full moon. One thing I will say, just to piggyback on my example from the Virgo new moon we just had this month, okay, take that and consider the fact that the full moon will not be in Virgo. The full moon will actually be 6 signs ahead. And whatever sign is 6 signs ahead of whatever the new moon was, that's what our full moon is going to be. So really, you want to look at this lunar cycle as a 6-month plan. Unless it's a short-term goal, then if it's a short-term goal, you can certainly look at it like that. Ain't no problem. But if it's a long-term goal, if it's something that you're actually looking to have a foundation on as far as improvement, examples, healing. I based my own healing process off of the phases of the moon so that I can make sure I was working on a little bit of something each time the new moon came around. I had something else that I'm like, okay, I want to fix this about myself. And I would stick with that for 6 months. And then as time went on, 6 months later, I'm actually seeing the full bloom of that new moon. One way to sum that up, okay, Virgo new moon, but we're going to have a Pisces full moon. Pisces full moon is pretty much speaking on the seeds that we've planted way back in March with their new moon, all the way back then. That's about 6 months ago. 6 months later, now we're looking at how far we came. And now we're harvesting on that. Now we're getting the fruits of that tree that we've planted, that seed. That's pretty much the phases of the moon. I'm thinking of doing another video coming up soon about the eclipses. We have 2 eclipses coming up, a solar and a lunar eclipse at the end of this year, like June and May. We had a solar and lunar back-to-back eclipse, and then now in November and December we're going to have another solar and lunar back-to-back eclipse. So I really want to do a thorough reading of the signs that the sun and the moon are going to be in. Of course they're going to be in the same sign, given that they're passing in front of each other and behind. Point is that I would rather really serve it up for y'all when that time comes around, so that we're well prepared for when that time comes around. And yeah, this has been my video on the phases of the moon. And if you have any questions, let me know below, baby. I can name so many events that I remember just because I remember what the moon was in. I remember I met this one girl. She was fine. And it was like a full moon in Scorpio. What a time. Like, it really does help with keeping these things together and keeping track of things. The lunar cycle is really significant like that.